In the last video, we thought about the sum of the weights of 3 bunnies, and we figured out what 1 bunny would weigh. Now let's do something a little bit more interesting. Here, I have somewhat visually depicted, although it's, well, yeah, I guess it's fair to say, visually depicted half a bunny. And we have half a bunny. This is really representing the weight of half a bunny. The weight of half a bunny is equal to 4 pounds. We'll assume that pounds are the units that we're working with. So this is clearly going to be a heavier bunny, because in the last video we saw that a whole bunny weighed 2 pounds. Now half a bunny weighs 4 pounds. So we're talking about different bunnies, and definitely bigger bunnies here. But let's think about how we can figure out what a whole bunny might weigh. And to start off, let's think about how we might algebraically represent this right over here. And we're kind of pseudo-representing it algebraically. And we'll still go with B representing the weight of a full bunny. So I'll let you think about that for a second. Well, the most obvious thing, and to some degree I said it when I asked you the question, this is half a bunny. How can we represent half a bunny? Well, we represent a bunny by, or the weight of a bunny by B, and then half of that, well, we can just multiply it by 1/2. We could write 1/2 B, or we could even write B over 2. We could write B over 2. So let me write it both ways. So it could be 1/2 B, or it could be represented as B over B over 2. These are two different ways of representing this little half a bunny over here. And over here we just have 4 pounds. So this is 1/2 B is equal to 4, or B over 2 is equal to 4. All different ways of representing the exact same thing. So how could we actually solve for B now? Well, if I have 1/2 times something, and I want to get to 1 times something, the best thing to do is to multiply by the reciprocal of 1/2. The reciprocal of 1/2 is just you're literally swapping the numerator and the denominator. The reciprocal is going to be 2 over 1, or just 2. So we can multiply both sides of this times 2. So I could just say times 2, or times 2 over 1, which is just 2. I'll just do it like this. 2 times 1/2 times B. And we have to do the right-hand side as well. Multiply it by 2. And we can do the same thing over here. Here we were dividing by 2. And if we want to get back to B, we want to multiply by 2. We want to multiply by 2. And doing it visually, well, that's just, if you multiply the weight of a bunny by 2, then you get the other half of the bunny. But we can't just multiply the left-hand side by 2. We also have to do the right-hand side. So if we had a 4 before, we're now going to have a 4 plus a 4, which is the same thing as 4 times 2. So what are we left with? Well, there's much. We can look at either of these equations and essentially get the solution. 2 times something divided by 2 is just going to be that something. You're just going to be left with a B. And then 4 times 2 is 8. So these are 8-pound bunnies. You see it over here. 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times 1/2 is just 1. You have a whole bunny right over here, and it's going to be equal to 8 pounds.